Good morning. I am at home today. I'm in my pajamas, but I have something to share, so I'm going to share it. I'm having my coffee here. I'm having some donuts, and let's just get started. I wanted to share today something that I think is important for a lot of people to know and to understand. I haven't shared this subject in a long time, probably years. And it's mostly just because I got past it. I worked through it, I got past it, and I guess I just didn't really feel the need to talk about narcissists on and on. However, I see a lot, and I mean a lot, of comments on social media where I see posts and I see comments where people are talking about narcissists. People run into narcissists, they end up dating narcissists. They, sometimes people are quick to label, sometimes they label justifiably. There are so many people in this world who appear to be narcissistic. And I think, going over and over and over the definition of a narcissist, I don't think that is helpful, at least not for me. I think that anybody who places themselves so far first above anyone else to the point where they're willing to throw people under the bus, cause harm to other people in order to preserve their own selves, I think that is enough of a definition of narcissism. And I don't like the label, but I do know that a lot of people label, anyone who comes into their life, wreaks havoc, is completely selfish, self-focused, self-centered, self-preserving, and just mows people over to preserve their own self, whether it's their self-esteem, whether they're preserving, whether they want attention, whether they're looking for love and they're just grabbing it and in any way they can, like they're desperate for love because they're so empty inside. There are just so many reasons for it, so many styles, types. I guess it's almost like it's on a spectrum. However, when somebody runs into someone like this and interacts with them for any period of time, it's noticeable. It can really do a number on your self-esteem. It can do a number on your sense of self. It can do a number on your ability to perceive the world as a good place. Running into somebody who is a taker, or, in other words, a vampire, an emotional vampire, a spiritual vampire, physical vampire, somebody who is just pulling the light out of other people to use for themselves, it can really, really it can drain you, is what I was trying to say. It can drain you. So I wanted to talk about this because I think it's important that people know. One of the things I wanted to share, and I'm probably going to end up doing some workshops on this as well. I have been through this in my own life. I've been through domestic, well, I don't know if I can say it on YouTube, DV. Been through it, had the person, who did those things was very much like that. And I just wanted to share a couple of things that came up in my own life that I feel that I can possibly help somebody else who has been through it. The first thing I wanted to share is one of my friends who had been through similar circumstances when I was through it, and we were kind of helping each other. I do remember a time when I was basically wanting to find out, okay, what can I do? I didn't want to feel helpless, like there was nothing I could do. I didn't want to feel like the next person I met was going to be the same thing. I wanted to look into, I know I'm messing with my pajamas here, I just don't want them to come open because they're a little indecent, sorry. But I wanted to just, first I want to address the difference between helplessness and not being able to do anything at all about it, and blaming yourself, because there is a fine line, and I want to walk that line, and I want to describe the difference. There is a difference between victim shaming, which at the time my friend thought that I was victim shaming. I didn't agree, but I mean, we remained peaceful. It wasn't like we argued over it or anything, but she just saw things from a different perspective than I did, which is fine. We all see things through the window of our own perception. um, but I was wanting to find where my responsibility might lie. And there's a big difference between blame and responsibility. And I think that that is the key. That is the foundation, the key to not continuing, to not perpetuating, finding or attracting or getting with or being with or dating or entering in the field of narcissists over and over and over. The key is to be able to find out where you have the power to make the change. And it isn't victim blaming, because there's a huge difference. We're not blaming ourselves. We are never to shame ourselves. We're never to look in the mirror in any circumstance, whether it's dealing with a narcissist or in our lives in general. Don't look at yourself in the mirror and say, I'm so bad because of this. I'm so wrong because of that. Don't blame yourself and put a bunch of negative labels on yourself like there's something wrong with you. That is victim blaming. So I want to make sure we separate that. We don't want to blame, shame, name, call names. We don't want to do that to ourselves. We don't want to berate ourselves. We don't want to put ourselves down. We don't want to bow our heads and think and feel guilt and condemnation. Those things are victim blaming. Let's not do that. So now that I got that out of the way, let's find our power. Let's find the power that we have inside of us to never have to deal with a narcissist again, or to be able to recognize one right away, to have the strength to be able to walk away whenever we see somebody trying to vampire our light, to be able to walk away, to recognize it and walk away. We have that power in us. Now, if we ran into a narcissist who became horrible and wreaked havoc on our life until we were finally able to escape, that system that we have, our fail-proof system, didn't work for us in that particular incident because we just didn't know we had it. It's not that we're bad, it's not that we're wrong, it's not that we should blame ourselves. We just didn't know. So let yourself go. Let yourself off the hook. We only know what we know. We only have the information that we have. So if we didn't know and we walked into a spider web or onto a minefield because we didn't know it was there, that's not on us. We just didn't know. So what do we do now? We walked onto that minefield, we got some injuries. We walked into the spider web, we got shock and awe, and all of a sudden there we are and we had to get out of it. What do we do now? How do we see that coming the next time around? So instead of saying, I should have, I didn't, I this, I that, that would be blaming yourself. Just say, you know what, it's okay, I didn't know. And let yourself off the hook. That is forgiving yourself. Not that there was really anything to forgive, because not knowing isn't like a criminal offense. It's not an offense at all, you just didn't know. So let yourself off the hook, like right away. Just say, I didn't know. So I'm going to find out. I didn't know, I'm going to learn. So that's one thing you can do to take your power. Learn from your mistakes. We all make mistakes. Mistakes are not punishable by shame. Mistakes are not, don't put the cone of shame on our head and make us blame ourselves for everything. That it's a mistake. It's a mistake. We make them. But we don't have to make the same mistakes over and over and over again. We can learn. We can learn from our mistakes. So that is one way to take back your power. Learn from your mistakes. And if you have no idea where you even made the mistake, where did I go wrong? What did I do? Watch some videos like this. Watch some people who have been through it. Watch some people who have learned. Be guided, be coachable, and listen to videos or friends or any kind of information you can gather, blogs, anything that you can do. Just gather that information, learn about it. That's how I made it through. I started to research and learn and read and listen to videos, and I let other people teach me, coach me, learn. There's always somebody out there who wants to take you by the hand and teach you. So if you're teachable and you've stopped blaming yourself, or you're not willing to blame yourself, then you're on the road and you're ready to learn. So one thing that I want to share is, in taking back our power, first thing we have to understand, first thing we have to know is how the dynamic works. How does that dynamic work? How does a narcissistic person who is a vampire, a taker, zero out and find somebody who's on the energy frequency of a kind, loving, giving soul? How does that happen? And here's where we're going to teeter along the line between where you could potentially blame the victim or just find the responsibility. And that's where the difference is, that there's a very fine line. There's blaming and shaming, and then there's finding where the responsibility lies in you. And when you find your responsibility in it, that is not blaming you. That is simply finding the point where you have the power. Where was my responsibility in the marriage? Where was my responsibility? Where did I come in to the dynamic? It's an equation. Meeting up with a narcissist is an equation. It's almost like a mathematical equation, and you are in the equation whether you want to be or not. You found your way somehow, subconsciously, into that equation. How did that happen? Now, blame would say it was conscious and I did it and I shouldn't have. That would be a conscious choice. If you consciously dated somebody who was evil, then maybe wear a little bit of a cone of shame. I don't know. I'm just joking. I mean, we all there are people who like the bad boy. I get it. I've been there, done that. Like the bad boy. And he's exciting and he's interesting. And sometimes we do go into that consciously. We don't mean to jump into a DV situation, but we kind of like the bad boy. That's okay. So that was us. That's what we did. There's still no blame in that. We were just doing what we were doing. We were on our journey. We were learning. We were discovering. We were doing what felt right to us, what we enjoyed. I used to say to people, I'm not attracted to nice guys. I'm only attracted to bad boys. I can't seem to get up an attraction. Like, you have to be attracted to somebody physically. You have to, if you're dating someone, it's one thing to be a friend. I can be friends with anyone. But if you're dating someone and you're going to think about, kissing them or going further than that, there has to be something. There's got to be some kind of a spark. Right? You got to be attracted. Here is where I discovered, and I'm going to share this with you. There is a difference between attraction and spiritual connection, or frequency connection, wave connection. There's a difference between attraction and connection. Attraction leads to attachment, unhealthy attachment. Attraction is in the physical 3D. That's what we see with our eyes. And we like with this physical part of us. That is different from being on the same wavelength. And it took me my lifetime to discover this, to understand this. Attraction comes from our childhood trauma, our childhood upbringing, our childhood, what did we watch? What did we see our parents do? What experiences did we have in life? Partly our DNA and who we are and what's in us and what we were born with, and another part comes along with our life experiences, and that is what forms who we are going to be attracted to. Those are all on the 3D worldly physical realm. So if we're looking for people to partner up with in the worldly physical 3D realm, what we're going to get is what's on the surface. And what's on the surface is, do I have damage? Is my damage looking for damage? And we don't mean to do this. This is all subconscious, or a lot of it is subconscious. Is my damage looking for damage? Or have I healed from damage? And have I found myself on a different wavelength? Once we heal from our childhood trauma, our childhood wounds, which is what they call shadow work, once we've done shadow work and we realize who we are, look at all my other videos, I think I have close to 300 of them by now. Who am I? I am part of the one, the all, the I am, that is everything, that is in support of me, that loves me. I love you, you love me. It's like Barney. I don't know if anybody remembers the purple dinosaur, but he sang songs and it was so cute. Well, annoying and cute, but he had a point. We all love each other. We're all in support of each other. We're all part of the all, the one that is God, the I am, the all. And if we're living in the wonder of that, and we're just having gratitude in our lives and experiencing joy in our lives, and everything around us is just wonderful and filled with joy, and we're working on those traumas that shaped us into all the negative things, if we're working on that and understanding who we really are, and then we walk in that, we live in that, and we start to realize that good things are going to start to just come our way. Our future and our life is going to start to open up, and it's going to match who we are and what we are and where we are. And that involves relationships as well. Your relationships are going to match who you know you are. But you have to get to the point where you know who you are. So you can look at all my other videos, you can look at other people's videos, you can read about, Nikola Tesla. There's a book called Project 369. There are books about metaphysics. There are books about Jesus. Read whatever you want, Muhammad, whatever it is you are in your culture or in your, where you live in the world or how you were raised. Find something to read that tells you, that teaches you, whether it's Buddhism or Hinduism or any of the world religions. Get away from religion if you can, and rise above the religions of the world that divide, but rise into the spirit. And that's the spirit in the Western world. We're taught that spirit is that Jesus Christ taught us about the spirit. He was our Messiah in the Western world. If we're Christians following Christ, Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. And this is how you get to the spirit, which is the metaphysical, the supernatural, unlimited being that we all are. And once you know you are that being and you walk in that, more positive things will start to open up for you, because that being, that unlimited being, is light and love and all those things that are good. And all the things on what they call the lower frequencies, the hate, the vampiring, the lack of any kind of self, all the misery and all the hatred and all those things, jealousy and all those things, are on a different wavelength from you at that point, and you will recognize it. You may not recognize it openly and outwardly in your conscious, but you'll feel it. If you get on that wave that is the Jesus Christ consciousness, or that oneness of all, once you're there, anything else, you'll feel it. You'll know it's not connecting. And attraction, as far as who is somebody attracted to, that is a very worldly, earthly, physical idea, concept. Attraction, we see with our eyes. We're attracted, or we have a spark. That's what we call chemistry. That's a worldly spark. But there's also a joining of the metaphysical, a joining of that wavelength, a oneness in that frequency. And that's what the Bible calls evenly yoked. When the Bible says don't be unevenly yoked, it means don't find someone that's on a frequency that you're not on. When you're on a frequency with someone else, it's the same frequency. You don't have to worry about whether or not you'll be attracted to them, because it's not an earthly thing. It's not a physical thing. It's a connection at the highest level, which is a level where we come from, the unlimited, spiritual, supernatural beings that we are. It'll be on that level. So that is my Reader's Digest 20-minute version of how to not continue to meet up with and connect with narcissists. And I hope that helped someone. This is probably I'm not going to be doing this on my channel over and over and over again, but I hope that, you know, if you do need anything else, if you do want to know anything else or any specifics, please comment, share your experiences, share what you, if you want to add something to what I've just talked about, feel free to add. I don't know everything about everything, I don't claim to, but share my channel, comment, like and subscribe. It helps the algorithms. And that's it for today. I hope you're all having a great day. I will see you next time.